You can't scare me.
Really?
Hang on, I need to go change my pants. Welcome back. Today we are watching the family/horror movie, a great combination, Don't Look Under the Bed. With that title, this movie was always going to be about boogeymen, or else it's like a guide for teenage parenting. You really don't want to know what's under there. This movie was actually banned from airing on the Disney Channel in 2006 after numerous parent complaints that it was too scary. Good job, Disney. Only took you 7 years of traumatizing kids to get this movie banned. The premise of this movie is if you stop believing in your imaginary friend too soon, they will turn into a boogeyman, terrorize you, kidnap your brother, and try to kill him.
And you're watching Disney Channel.
This movie is terrifying. Spooky season has arrived. Our protagonist's name is Francis Bacon McCausland. Sir Francis Bacon argued for the possibility of scientific knowledge based only upon inductive reasoning and careful observation of events in nature. They were in the writer's room like, what do you think we should name this girl? Something common. Sarah. Brittany's really popular right now. We shall name her Francis Bacon McCausland for her empirical nature, and because she will be the Lord High Chancellor of Britain. Right off the bat, this movie is unsettling. Every single camera angle is like tilted a little. We're in an upside down kind of world here. Weird things start to happen in Middleborough, Francis's town. All of the clocks get set forward all of a sudden and everyone wakes up at like 4 a.m. The city swimming pool gets filled with jello and a girl dives in and is like completely stuck upside down.
I'll get you out.
That girl died. You can't get someone out of jello. She drowned in jello. I don't think there's a worse way to go than jello filling your lungs as you inhale it. Eggs get dropped on a teacher's car. A guy that needs to trim his toenails rips open a dog biscuit bag. Weird stuff's going on. Most Disney Channel movies follow a very close formula. We establish the normal world of the movie for the first third, then something crazy comes along to mix up the world, and then that main character learns some lessons and they solve that problem and their life goes back to normal, but now they've learned some lessons. One thing that makes this movie so unsettling is we just don't know what that baseline is. We start the movie and immediately dolls' heads are just turning toward Francis and staring at her in bed. In fact, all of the statues in the town are constantly turning their heads to look at Francis. Because there's no baseline, I just have to assume that all the statues in this town turn their heads to follow people when they walk by. This is the best one. I'm just terrified that someone is willing to have that pig as their mailbox. Francis starts to see this guy that nobody else in town can see, and he says his name is Larry Houdini, and he is someone's imaginary friend, but not hers.
Did I say I was your imaginary friend? I don't think so, Miss Francis.
Francis pretty quickly accepts this, and because she's just sort of quirky and weird, she starts getting blamed for all of the pranks in the town. She gets called into this meeting with the principal and her parents and a counselor, and the counselor says, I think I have a theory as to why Francis is acting up. The counselor says it's because her little brother had bone marrow cancer, and she donated her bone marrow to him as like a transplant. And the pain of that transplant is making her act out. But that theory is disproven because the parents say it was actually her older brother who had donated his bone marrow to their cancerous little brother. What? We are shoehorning childhood cancer into this plot? Yeah, this comes out of nowhere, but spoiler alert, the real antagonist in this story is the fear of childhood bone cancer. That's a horror movie. I have to talk about the unhinged performance of the guy who plays Larry Houdini. This actor is wild. Houdini is sometimes like totally calm and cool. Sometimes he's just screaming at people, and other times he is just out of his mind.
Monkey bars.
Houdini and Francis figure out that it's the boogeyman that's been causing all of this these pranks and this mayhem in the town, they need to lure him out of the Boogie world, which exists under Francis's bed, using what they call Boogie goo. Boogie goo is just like everything gross put into a big pot, I guess, and it's purple. They get all of this lore out of this library book. The librarian's performance is also pretty crazy. You gotta hear her shh. Here's a shh supercut.
This doesn't prove anything.
Quiet!
It's like so weird, such a weird choice. Oh yeah, and while they're making the boogie goo, Francis reveals that he himself is also turning into a boogeyman. He wants to eat the boogie goo too. He starts lashing out more and more at Francis, yelling at her. At one point, he tells her she's a coward because she didn't donate her bone marrow to her little brother and she let the older brother do it.
Then why didn't you give him some of your bone marrow, huh?
I wanted to help him, but the doctor said Bert was the only one who could do it.
You can't just say that to people. I thought the cancer was just going to be like one weird thing, but no, this is a major plot point. And then Houdini starts going full boogie mode. And this is just not suitable for children. This movie is 25 years old, and I just wrote a complaint to Disney. We find out that Houdini was actually Darwin, Francis's little brother with cancer's imaginary friend. But Francis actually told him to forget all about Houdini because he actually needed to grow up and face his cancer. While this little kid was in the hospital getting treatment, his older sister told him, grow up, stop believing in imaginary friends to get you through this treatment. At this point, I have just turned against our main character, Francis. I'm just not even rooting for her anymore. She sucks. This whole situation happened because she wasn't very nice to her little brother with cancer. Oh yeah, and she admits,
Larry,
What?
what you said about me being relieved when I couldn't be a donor. It's true. I was glad I had to be Bert because I was scared.
what is going on? What is this story about again? As if he hasn't been through enough, then this happens to the little brother. Hang on, I need to go change my pants again. So Francis and the almost full boogeyman Houdini, they travel into Boogie World to save her little brother. Boogie World is under the bed, and it's just sort of like things that could have been left under a bed, but big. Like an old moldy sandwich and a toy car and a bunch of stuff like this. By the way, I've never lost a whole sandwich under my bed. I don't know who's losing an old moldy sandwich under their bed. The boogeyman has tied up the little brother in a giant sock that is now big enough for a person, and he just starts trying to murder everyone. He's trying to murder the little brother, he's trying to murder Francis, and then Houdini turns full boogeyman, so now there's just two boogeymen who are attacking these kids, trying to kill them. Finally, the little brother remembers his imaginary friend, and the boogeyman-ness just breaks off of Houdini. So now, again, the odds are a little bit more even. After this big kind of fight that happens in Boogie World, Francis is able to clip this machine onto the boogeyman that they had built to like age the boogeyman into non-existence. It's a whole side plot that I didn't want to explain. But shockingly, when they put this machine onto the boogeyman, he turns into an old woman.
Getting old.
I'm getting so old. I've even forgotten how to rhyme anymore.
It's very surprising. But this makes Francis realize that she did have an imaginary friend and that, in fact, no one saw it coming. This boogeyman is not a boogeyman. It's Zoe.
Zoe.
The boogeyman's a girl?
The boogeyman
Actually,
It's Boogie person.
Boogie person. Curse is broken. And it turns out similar weird stuff is happening in the town over, so Francis is sort of off the hook as being blamed for all of these pranks. Houdini and the British imaginary friend Zoe.
I'm Zoe.
Zoom, anyone?
Zoom.
They decide they're going to go to the next town and help take care of that boogeyman. And when they say goodbye, Houdini and Zoe tell Francis they'll never be able to see her again, and she'll never be able to see them because she's too grown up for that sort of thing. And then Houdini comes up and kisses her on the mouth. There has been no chemistry between these two. There's been no sexual tension. This is completely out of nowhere, a weird romantic stolen kiss. And it apparently awakens something within Francis. I didn't like it.
Maybe I am too grown up.
What? What are you insinuating? The movie ends on a happy note with Darwin crawling into bed and saying he's scared, and Francis comforting him. She says, boogeymen aren't going to be around anymore. You don't have to worry about that. And he says, no.
I'm worried about getting sick again.
I'm scared of my bone cancer coming back. That's how the movie ends. He's scared his cancer will return. And then Earth, Wind, and Fire's Boogie Wonderland, a disco hit, starts playing over the credits. That's horrifying. This movie is truly a horror movie, and I bet that stuck with kids. Who cares about boogeymen? Now kids are scared they're gonna get bone cancer. Well, that's it. Leave a comment and let me know how many years you couldn't sleep because of this movie, or just leave a happy, encouraging comment to cheer us all up. Happy Halloween. We'll see you next time.